Welcome to Pastoral Theology Foundations 1. My name is Associate Professor Glenn Morrison. Topic 13, the impossible possibility of forgiveness. The prophet Isaiah remarks that my house shall be a house of prayer for all peoples. Is this possible, or is it an impossibility in the landscape of our lives? We live in many ways between our ego and our conscience, and living in this in-between world, we are challenged by an array of experiences and interpretations. The last words of the first letter of St. Peter is, "Little children, keep away from idols." But it is the hardest thing to keep away from the idol of our ego, or the ego that creates many idols in the world itself. Forgiveness is a difficult freedom. Forgiveness does not fall from the sky. And even though it may seem impossible, it is a possibility. To face this paradox, we must see that in the word possibility is the ability of God to forge within ourselves a spiritual sense of prayer. Forgiveness itself journeys into the mystery of prayer and grace. In the Old Testament, we can get a sense of the meaning of deeds and consequences, the consequences of our deeds. Perhaps if we don't respond in a righteous way, then God will punish us. Perhaps we have to prove to God that we are righteous. We have to, in effect, we begin trying so hard. We try so hard to forgive. But does such behavior work when we consider the Our Father? Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And we turn this into a forceful moral obligation. And then we misunderstand that forgiveness is an absolute free gift itself. It is walking into the passivity of God, that is, into the openness of God. It is learning to change our mindset. What makes forgiveness impossible is all the things we need to asunder so that it can be possible. What do we need to asunder? Prejudices, caricatures of people, the ways we alienate people through hostility and anger and our resentments deep inside, and then we ostracize them. That means we may not realize it, but we go against one of the commandments of God and we murder him or her. How do people murder others? Not just physically, they deny their history through lies, and in such a way of ostracization they seek to destroy their soul. The psychoanalysts call it soul murder. And so forgiveness is the opposite of murdering the soul. It is giving life to the soul, bringing the soul to the house of the Lord, to a house of prayer. So how can prayer be a way of putting to sundering all the bad habits in our life, of how we look at people with prejudices and characterize them? It is really to speak of rehabilitation, to journey into a life of saintliness, of that ideal of humility, to love others as you love yourself. And it always speaks deeply of letting the love of God penetrate our hearts to such a level that we learn to keep away from idols. Indeed, as 1 John 5 says, little children, keep away from idols. We must keep away from the idols that the ego creates in reducing others to a sense of the horror of the night, to darkness, to evil. We must put asunder these things so that we must learn the value of forgiveness, to become like Jesus, a forgiving person, to be spontaneous in faith, to seek conversion within our lives, and to show this melancholy of hope, this deeper movement towards compassion, so that we can begin to understand our own pain and fragility, and then journey into this vigilance of love, that it's even possible to forgive those who hurt us so deeply, who trespass upon our worlds, who violate our sense of reason, to do something perhaps which doesn't make any sense, which is senseless, and to forgive and to taste the foolishness of the cross, to be like Christ, responsible for everything and everyone.